Hi everybody, I'm Saujanya. I teach entrepreneurship and marketing. So today, this is a MSME paper of BBA 6th semester from Nannaya University. It's a quick recap for the final examination. So let's see what in store for us. So I have analyzed the past few papers and picked up the frequently asked questions for a quick revision. So one of the most frequently asked questions is the sources of finance, as you see. So in the sources of finance, there are two important sources. One is external and the other is internal sources. Among the internal sources, MSME enterprise people often go for equity or deposits or loans or other sources. So if it is loans, they usually go for provident fund or insurance or buildings or investments. And the other sources of funding is generally the retention of profits. And sometimes people convert their assets into funds. Then coming to the external sources, so there are various external sources of funding. As you see, deposits and borrowings from relatives and family, and hire purchase or leasing facility from various industries and institutions, term loans from financial institutions, credit from commercial banks, and seed or margin money or subsidies from governments, and borrowings for especially working capital. And then the second most frequently asked question is the causes of industrial sickness. So as you see here, there are two important causes, internal and external causes. Among the internal causes, there are many. So the first one is the financial bottleneck, second being production problems, third is marketing constraints, fourth is personal problems, fifth is corporate management. Let's see one by one. In the financial bottlenecks, generally it is a lack of financial planning or failures in control in budgeting. And the second thing is improper utilization of assets. Next comes inefficient working capital management. Similarly, sometimes people do siphoning of funds or diversion. Then high rate of capital gearing, that is they are unable to find out which capital source to go for. Then sometimes doubtful debts are also a very important reason for a financial bottleneck. Then lack of plowing back of profits into the business. Then comes the second important aspect, that is production problems, where the selection of site could be one major problem, maintenance of plant and machinery and inappropriate plant and machinery at times, faulty production programs, and then lack of product diversification is also one important problem. Then we have the marketing constraints. So where people are not able to do the demand forecasting properly and they are inappropriately selecting the product mix, they do not do the market research or survey properly, then sometimes it is absence of product planning and dependence or reliance on very few set of customers and inappropriate sales promotion. Then we have the personnel problems where there is high absenteeism in labor turnover, bad industrial relations, inappropriate wage and salary administration, and overstaffing. These are few problems of the personnel. Then we have something under the corporate management, that is poor managerial talent, then poor reporting, mismanagement, infighting among the different people, inability to respond, and improper project planning. These are few issues in the corporate management. Then we will see the external causes. Like we saw the internal causes, there are also external causes of sickness. The first being financial reasons, and the second production reasons, third one is marketing, fourth is personal. So in the external reasons, financial reasons especially, people or businessmen are not able to have adequate industrial credit. This could be one major reason for their sickness. Then when they approach banks, the delay in disbursement of loans could be the second issue. And unfavorable investment climate could be a third most important reason. And the fourth reason could be a policy of credit restraints where it could lead to sickness for the industry or the business. Then we have the production reasons. Then there are two important reasons. One is shortage of inputs. Second is restriction on imports. And among the marketing reasons, demand recession could be there, and also there could be a toll on heavy taxes. And thirdly, curtailment of purchases by bulk purchases could also lead to sickness. Then we have the personal reasons. So among the personal reasons, non-availability of skilled manpower, labor unrest, wage disparity, and inter-union rivalry could be one of the reasons. Next, the third most important question, and this is an essay question which is being frequently asked, is explain the role of KIABD in the industrial development. So KIABD is Karnataka Industrial Areas Development Board, which is a wholly owned infrastructure agency of the government of Karnataka, which was set up in 1966. And as you see, most of the locations are from Karnataka: Mysore, Mangalore, Dharwad, Gulbarga, and others. So this board functions as per the statutory provisions, and it comprises of senior government officers, and it takes decisions and monitors the functions, plus it is ISO 9001 certified. The aims and objectives of KIABD are very important: to promote rapid and orderly development of industries in the state, assist in implementation of policies of government which are within the purview of KIADB Act, facilitate in establishing infrastructure projects, function on no profit or no loss basis. Then the functions: acquiring land and forming industrial areas in the state, providing basic infrastructure in the industrial areas, acquire land for single unit complexes, acquiring land for government agencies for their schemes and infrastructure projects. Development services which are offered by the same thing is land allotment letter, confirmation letter, possession certificate, execution of lease deed, and the plan approval, which is very mandatory. Then these are the compliances which need to be followed. So the application duty must be accompanied by a brief project report, who is constituting in the company, and also an EMD plus a provisional registration certificate. And then the oft asked question is the role of small enterprises in the economic development. So what is the importance? The small enterprise provide increased lot of opportunities. Then they also lead to a lot of export promotion. They facilitate innovation and technological development. The gestation period is very short, and it can be easily spread in the rural and semi-urban areas. Plus, it results in balanced regional development for every region. Then, it contributes to entrepreneurship culture at the local levels, and it caters to the local consumer needs in more cost-effective manner. Standard of living of the local people can be improved, and it is dependent, of course, on the local limited market size. It provides some kind of stability and specialization to develop on niche markets. Then, the fifth question is significance of TECSOK. So, TECSOK stands for Technical Consultancy Services Organization of Karnataka. This is very frequently repeated question. It's a multidisciplinary management consultancy organization promoted by Government of Karnataka to provide reliable consultancy services. It concentrates on studies related to cleaner production technologies and methods. Plus, it has different people like engineers, management experts, economists, and financial consultants. So, let's see what are the various areas in which TECSOK has got expertise. So, location-specific identification of investment opportunities, assistance in obtaining statutory and procedural clearances, feasibility studies and environment impact studies, preparation of detailed project reports as per the investment norms and the financial norms, market survey and research, project implementation, valuation of assets, energy management and audit, diagnostic studies, designing and organizing training programs. Then, in order to assist the entrepreneurs, it has been recognized as a special agency by all India financial institutions like IDBI, IFCI, and others. So, there are few schemes which are operated through TECSOK. Subsidies are mostly given to entrepreneurs for various purposes. One is for meeting the cost of feasibility studies, as you see, and for various industries like agri, animal husbandry, dairy farming, sericulture, pisciculture, then also for control of pollution, then conducting market research and surveys, for the promotion of ancillary and small scale industries, and for usage of non-conventional sources of energy. It has established also a separate women cell to assist the women entrepreneurs. The main objective is to formulate the projects which are oriented towards progress and development of women. This is regarding TECSOK. Then comes your most famous venture capital, which is being asked in the short questions at times. So it is the money which is provided by professionals who invest alongside management in young, rapidly growing companies that have the potential to develop into significant economic contributors. So it refers to financing of projects based on technological innovations in contrast to the conventional security-based lending. The European Venture Capital Association describes it as risk finance for entrepreneurial growth of growth-oriented companies. According to Neil Cross, it is defined as provision of risk-bearing capital, usually in the form of participation in equity to companies with high growth potential. Mr. Guruswamy defines this as an activity by which investors support entrepreneurial talent with finance and business skills to exploit the market opportunities and thus obtain long-term capital gain. So they enhance business in the following ways: by providing management and business skills, and they do expect medium and long-term gains, and they do not expect any kind of collateral to cover the capital. Plus, the main attributes are equity participation, long-term investment, and the participation in management. Then, the next question that's being frequently asked is the marketing functions in the MSEM. So, among the marketing functions, there are 4 important marketing functions, as you see: analysis, implementation, planning, control. Right. So, the analysis. In the analysis is very important for understanding the market analysis. How do we analyze the market? Then also this SWOT, that is strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So, if we understand the market carefully, then we'll be able to sell our products. Then comes the planning part. So, in the planning, the first one that needs to be done is the environmental scanning. So, you have to understand what is there in the environment which might affect your business. Then you do your internal scanning. Then you have a very clear-cut marketing objective regarding your sales, your revenues, your market share. Then, of course, what's your marketing strategy? What kind of promotional aspects you want to do? What is the kind of pricing you want to keep? What kind of distribution you want to follow? Then formulating plans for other functional areas. How do you interweave yourself with the other functional areas so that everything goes smooth? Then comes your implementation, wherein the implementation is that process that turns the marketing plans into quick actions. And this is where the who, where, when, and how of the marketing activities are concerned. Enterprise blends its people. So these are the factors which are important here. How the enterprise is blending its people, how the structure of the organization is blending in, what are the decisions, the employee reward systems, and the enterprise culture which affect the marketing part. Then you have the control. So in the control, there are 4 important aspects. How do you establish the performance standards? And how are you measuring them? How are you actually comparing them? And finally, what kind of corrective action are you taking after doing these steps? This is another most frequently asked question, that is, describe the human functions in the MSME, human resource functions. So there are 5 important aspects, that is HRM policies, that is developing policies related to the personal management of the firm, which is very crucial. Employment, that is defining recruitment and selection procedures for staffing needs, which is highly significant. Development, that is developing strategies for training and development of employees, which is again a very, very important area. Performance, developing performance appraisal programs which could retain and which could ensure that your manpower gets retained with you. Then finally, we have the compensation, where you design the reward systems for your employees. Yes, this is another important. So in the paper's analysis that was done, it was observed that invariably 2 questions or institutions are being asked. So it's better for us to focus. So I thought, let me just give a quick recap of the institutions that are there in the syllabus. So this is the SISI, Small Industries Service Institute, which is set up in each state. Every state has got it, to provide consultancy and training to small and prospective entrepreneurs. So let's see the functions. So the functions of SISA are to assist the existing entrepreneurs plus the probable entrepreneur, that is the prospective entrepreneurs, through technical and managerial counseling, such as help in selecting the proper machinery, proper equipments, adopting of recognized standards of testing, quality performance, etc. And conducting EDP programs all over the country, advising the central and state governments on policy matters which are related to small industries developments. Then assisting in testing of raw materials and products of SSIs, their inspection and the quality control. Next, these are the functions again: to provide the market information, to recommend the SSIs for any kind of financial assistance from the financial institutions as they cannot individually approach them, to enlist the entrepreneurs participation in government stores purchase program which might increase their marketing, conducting economic and technical surveys and preparing techno-economic feasible reports for selected areas and industries. Then identifying the potential for ancillary development through subcontract exchanges. Finally, organizing seminars, workshops, industry clinics for the benefit of entrepreneurs. This is also a frequently repeated asked question. SSIDC, the State Small Industries Development Corporation, which are also set up in various states under the Companies Act 1956, as state government undertakings to cater to the primary development of small, tiny and village industries in the state and union territories under the jurisdiction. So what does it do? Procuring and distribution of the scarce raw materials to supply machinery on hire purchase system, as all MSME enterprises cannot afford to buy the machinery. Then to provide assistance for marketing of products of small scale industries, to construct industrial estates and sheds or provide allied infrastructure facilities, and also to take care of the maintenance, which is very, very significant. And finally, to extend seed capital assistance on behalf of the state government whichever they are operating. And last, to provide management assistance to the production units. Right. Then we have our district industry center. So these were established in the year 1978 with the focus to provide integrated administrative support for promotion of small scale industries in rural areas. So you should definitely remember this word rural because DICs were set up with the main focus on rural areas. So these centers act as chief coordinator in respect of various government departments and other agencies. They provide a single window interacting agency to the budding entrepreneurs at the district level. This is something you should be there in your mind. Now, role. So assistance under equipment leasing scheme through NSIC, in marketing linkage with central government and in ancillary industry type at the government undertakings, SEC unit revitalization, standardization of products, design of handicrafts, export assistance, participation of people in exhibition, trade fairs and buyers-sellers meets, promotion of new industrial estate, then giving awards for innovative products under non-conventional energy sources, financial assistance under self-employment schemes for modernization of unit. Right. The next institute is the Small Industries Development Organization. So the functions of SIDO are: first is the coordination function, where the policies, programs, and they are liaising with ministers and the government for development of industrial estate, especially. Industrial development function, wherein they reserve items for production, collect the data on what kind of items are being imported, and encourage setting up such kind of industrial units to produce and support the development of ancillary units. Function of extension: improving the technical process, production planning, machinery layout, design. Then this is another important question, whereas how do you formulate a project? There are some series of steps in formulating a project. Right. So the first one being feasibility analysis, second thing is techno-economic analysis, project design and network analysis, input analysis, financial analysis, social cost benefit analysis. Let's see one by one. And project appraisal. So the first one being feasibility analysis. The purpose is to examine the desirability of investing in pre-investment studies. How far can you take off the business? Is it really viable? Is what is the concern of the feasibility. Then comes the techno-economic analysis, where, as you see, it is primarily concerned with identification of project demand potential and selection of the proper technology. Then you have the project design and network analysis, which defines the individual activities which go into the corpus of the project and their interrelationship with each other. Then fourth step is the input analysis, where the objective is to identify and quantify the project inputs and to assess the feasibility of a sustained supply of these inputs all through the effective lifespan of the project. Then financial analysis. It concerns itself with the estimation of project cost, estimation of the project and the funds. Then you have the social cost benefit analysis, where it not only looks at the costs and benefits but also looks at how it has a bearing on the other aspects. Then you have project appraisal, which is probably the process of consolidating the results of all the other things that they have done. Feasibility analysis, techno-economic analysis, design and network analysis, input analysis, financial and the cost benefit analysis. Right. So there is one more important question called the project report preparation. So it is a precise formal document of commitment prepared and presented by the sponsors of a project. And the preparation of detailed report is a preliminary phase of a PLC. So there are some components. These are very, very important. This question is being repeatedly asked either in the short questions or in the long questions. So as you see, the question paper comprises of 75 marks with short answers and followed by the long answers. So you can expect these kind of questions either in the short form or in the long form. So the components of the project report are general information, the rationale why you want to start the project, then the project description, which comprises of everything, what is the market potential, and what kind of capital expenditure and what are the sources of finance, assessment of working capital requirements, other financial factors, government and other statutory approvals, and the economic and social variables. So these are the few questions which I found frequently in the question papers that were examinations that were conducted by the university. So for BBS 6 MSME paper, if you are able to quickly have a recap of this and do well in the examinations, it will be very glad. So I wish you all the best, and all of you please do well in your examinations. Thank you.